Hey guys, I'm Andrea. I'm a young adult author who was querying my first manuscript and working on my second, and welcome to my channel. This is the, I don't even know, like 5th or 6th installment of this series, and we are on the 3rd book in the Graceling series, which is the last one, and it's called Bitterblue. So I finished this book about a week or two ago, and I've been meaning to record about it ever since. I didn't record every 100 pages like I did with some of the other ones, mainly just because I just didn't feel the need to, but this book broke my heart, man. Yeah, so from the very beginning, this book was just like full of action and full of just plot twists and a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. And then we had the characters from previous book come to this book, and it all kind of tied together very nicely. Because if you've seen my previous reread with me for Fire, I ended up saying that I felt like Lek being included in Fire was just kind of pointless, like he wasn't necessary in there. Well, I take that back. It all tied up in Bitterblue, and it was great. So if this is your first time watching this Reread with Me series, this is going to be spoilery. They're all spoilery, just so you know. There's your warning. I'll give you a second to hop off. Okay, so Fire, from obviously the book Fire, she ends up coming into this book in almost the very end, and Bitterblue and everybody has this revelation that these people that Lek kept trying to portray in his castle and stuff are real. And I guess when he came back from the Dells, he kept trying to make the Monsia like the Dells. Like, he kept including the monsters and trying to convince people he wrote in the Delinean language and all this other stuff, which was a very confusing part of Bitterblue. And then you also find out that Lek's advisors are healers, but he was making them rape women and harm animals and stuff. And he wasn't the one actually doing it, which was another just heartbreaking part of this book. It was all kind of crazy, and things just kept happening. And then I shipped Bitterblue and Sapphire so hard, and they got together a little bit at the end, but then at the same time he ended up leaving to go visit the Dells. And like, it ends so, I feel like there should be another book, because it just ends with her writing something down because it's part of her story and she wants to remember it. Like, that's literally the ending. I think that's the last sentence. Like, I was so upset when I got to the end. I was like, where's the rest of it? Because, okay, so everything calmed down, and you know, Poe and Kata from book 1 are still going strong. And we find out that the Dells is a place, and people in the Graceling realm didn't really know about the Dells until now. Now Montia knows about the Dells, and there's overthrowings of kings and things going on who are just bad people. And then there's the beginning is just about her running out to the city to find out about her city, and she finds out her advisors are a bunch of liars, and her city in some areas is falling apart, and there's people killing people who want to tell the truth about Lek's reign. And then she meets Teddy and Sapphire, and Teddy gets stabbed at one point and almost dies, and then her healer saves him, and he ends up living. But it's just one roller coaster ride after the other. I don't even know what I rated this before when I read it. I think this time, well, we'll get there. We'll get to my rating. But yeah, it is, let me look here, 539 pages of just roller coaster ride. I don't really have too much of an opinion on all the things that happened in this book, though. It was just kind of like, eh. I loved Bitterblue's character in Graceling. I still feel like I liked Bitterblue's character, but I feel like she could have been a little bit, like, I liked the fact that she was resilient, and like she like went out and found out for herself the things that were going on in her kingdom, and I think that she makes a great queen. But I feel like that's about as far as I go with liking her character. I'm just like, she was okay. Like, I didn't really love her. I didn't think about her for like ages and ages after I read this book. I liked that everything was tied together. Like, Poe and Katza were still together. They were coming to visit her, and then we find out finally, which I predicted in my first one, that Ban and Roffin are actually a thing. Gideon is still in the book too, which I like. I like that it's been like a few years later, like 10 years, I think. I don't know, since the last time we like met Bitterblue. I like that Teddy and Sapphire are a big part of this book. I think their characters are cool. Sapphire is kind of like a firecracker, which I kind of like, but other than that, as far as character development, Bitterblue was a really well-rounded character, but I feel like the character that was most developed was Lek, because you find out that he did a bunch of things that you didn't know, well, that you thought he might have done, but in this book it's explained. So like in the beginning, when we read Graceling, we don't know what Lek was trying to do with Bitterblue. Like, we're unsure, but then we find out he's taken Theo down to his chambers and like cut him for fun. He cuts animals for fun, and he has his advisors rape women, and he kills people that get on his nerves, and he has a child with this girl, Bellamy, that he sees accidentally, and that's why he kills her. So we learn more about his character and get into the mind of this crazy, insane man who was ruining everything and now is dead. As far as plot, I feel like it's so fast-paced. Like, from the very beginning, it's just like go, 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 full speed ahead, which I like. I like that the plot's like that. It keeps you interested, especially when the book is so long. Overall, though, it was an okay read. It was interesting. I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but I didn't sit and mull on the characters forever. Like, I don't feel like it should be like a big, it was okay by my standards and my rating as far as it goes, which is why I didn't make videos every 100 pages, because I didn't have much to talk about it. I mean, like I said, it's okay. I don't have too much to say per se about this book, just what I just said. So this is a really short review for this series. Usually these are really, really long, but this one, it was full of action and stuff, but for me, it was like uneventful. Like, and no offense to the author or anybody that loves this series or loves this book. I loved this series when I first read it, which is why I bought it as one of my first ones to do for this Reread With Me series. And now I've reread it, and I don't know if I'll reread it again. It's a possibility. Like Fire, I probably won't reread again. This one is a possibility. I might reread it again. I might not. I don't know. But without further ado, let's just jump into my rating. So I don't know what I rated it before, but this time I rated it 3 stars, and I think I might bump it to 3.5 stars. Just because it was a good book, but it didn't keep me, like, the plot line keeps you reading, but it wasn't eventful for me. Like, it wasn't like one of those books where I'm like, you have to read this book, I love this book so much, and I'm ranting and raving about it and wanting everybody in the world to read it. It wasn't one of those. Like, it didn't stick with me after I was done with it. It's one of those books where you read it and it's good and you're like, oh, I enjoyed this book, and then you shelve it and you don't really think about it again. Like, it's one of those kinds of books. So that's why I gave it 3 to 3.5 stars. I don't know what I rated it in the beginning because I couldn't see the rating. It might have been 3 or 4 stars rated in the beginning, so my rating really hasn't changed drastically or anything. I just feel like I used to rant and rave about this series to people. Like, somebody on Twitter recently asked what series they should read, and I said Graceling, the Graceling series. And now, I'm not saying I wouldn't recommend it, but it wouldn't be my first choice for a recommendation for a series to read. So that is just how I feel about the series as of right now, and we are officially done with the Graceling realm books as far as this Reread With Me series goes. So we're moving on to our next series, but not series. It's the first book in a series that I've read, but I haven't read the remainder of the books. So we're going to move on to that one. And in our next Reread with Me episode, I will be rereading of Poseidon, which is the first book in the Serena Legacy series. And it's the only one in the series that I've read. So I'll reread of Poseidon, and then I'll do a Reread with Me episode for you guys. And then stay tuned for the next 2 books, which are Of Neptune and I can't even recall. It's Of Neptune and another one. I'll read those, and then I'll do my review on those. Also stay tuned, because I'm reading a new series that's been really popular across BookTube. I'm going to be reading the Shatter Me series for the first time. I only have the first book, but I only got the first book because I want to see if I'm going to like it. So stay tuned for that, my little discussion about Shatter Me, and a bunch of other great stuff coming to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!